The shuttle bay doors hissed open, and Maya Chen stepped onto the training deck of the Galactic Combat Academy with exactly 3 things on her mind. First, prove that humans belonged among the warrior species. Second, make the smug reptilian instructor regret every condescending word he had ever spoken about Earth. Third, survive long enough to do both. The air tasted metallic. Strange. Every species here had different atmospheric preferences, and the station had settled on something that would not kill anyone but would not please anyone either. Maya took a deep breath anyway, letting the recycled oxygen fill her lungs, and walked forward with her shoulders back and her chin high. Around her, aliens of every imaginable configuration were already warming up. A massive Krell warrior, easily 3 meters tall with gray skin like stone, was lifting weights that could have crushed a car. 4-armed Vex fighters practiced intricate combat forms that looked like deadly dancing. Insectoid Chitric soldiers clicked and hummed while sparring in teams. And then there was her, 1.6 meters of human fury wrapped in standard-issue training gear. Well, a voice rumbled from behind her. The primate finally decided to show up. Maya turned slowly, deliberately, and locked eyes with training Master Vargoth. He was a saurian, 7 feet of scaled muscle and arrogance, with yellow eyes that looked at her like she was something stuck to his boot. His armor gleamed under the harsh lights, ceremonial but functional, etched with marks of 1,000 victories. Training Master, Maya said, her voice perfectly level. I was on time. In fact, I was early. Do saurians struggle with chronology, or is that just you? A ripple of clicks and hisses echoed through the training bay. Several aliens stopped what they were doing to watch. Vargoth's eyes narrowed, his forked tongue flicking out briefly. Your species has been granted entry to this academy as an experiment, he said, drawing out the last word. The Council believes humans might have potential. I believe the Council has gone soft in their old age. Maya smiled, showing teeth. Then I guess we are about to find out who is right. Vargoth circled her like a predator sizing a prey. In my 300 years of training warriors, I have seen exactly 2 types of species. Those who understand combat at a cellular level, who were born to fight, who have claws and armor and venom in their blood. He paused, stopping directly in front of her. And then there are prey species who play at being warriors. Soft things with delusions of adequacy. Fascinating, Maya said. Which one ate the other for trying to draw imaginary lines? The Krell warrior in the corner made a sound suspiciously like laughter. Vargoth's tail twitched, a sign Maya had learned meant irritation. Today, we assess your capabilities, Vargoth announced loudly, addressing the entire bay now. Each recruit will face me in unarmed combat. No weapons, no tools, no technological assistance. Just flesh, bone, and whatever pathetic natural advantages your evolution provided. He turned back to Maya. The human will go first. Let's see what Earth produces when it tries to make a soldier. Maya stretched her neck, rolling her shoulders. Just to be clear, when you say no weapons, you mean I cannot bring a knife or a gun into the ring, correct? Correct. But I am allowed to use whatever I have on me, as long as it is not a weapon. Vargoth's expression suggested he thought she was an idiot. If you wish to fight with your clothing or your jewelry, primate, be my guest. It will not help. Perfect, Maya said, stepping into the circular combat ring marked on the deck floor. Just wanted to make sure we both understood the rules. The other recruits formed a loose circle around them. Maya could feel their eyes on her, could sense their doubt. Humans were new to the galactic stage. They were small, weak, and slow compared to most warrior species. They had no natural weapons, no armor, no venom. What they had was spite, creativity, and an absolute refusal to know when they were beaten. Vargoth entered the ring with the confidence of someone who had never lost. Begin when ready, human. Try not to embarrass your planet too quickly. Maya said nothing. She just watched him, studied the way he moved, the way he distributed his weight. She had spent 6 months preparing for this. 6 months studying saurian anatomy, combat doctrine, and most importantly, their incredible arrogance. She moved first, not forward, as Vargoth expected, but to the side, circling. He turned to follow her, still casual, still confident. Running already? How disappointing. Just getting a feel for the space, Maya replied. Your armor is beautiful, by the way. Must have taken years to earn all those markings. Centuries, Vargoth corrected, his chest swelling slightly with pride. Each one represents a worthy opponent defeated. And the space on the left shoulder? What does that represent? Vargoth glanced down instinctively. Just for a fraction of a second, it was enough. Maya exploded forward, closing the distance in 3 quick steps. Vargoth snapped back to attention and swung a massive clawed hand at her head, fast enough to blur. She dropped low, feeling the air whistle overhead, and drove her fist into his knee joint. The Saurian's armor was impressive, but it had gaps. It had to, or he could not move, and Maya had memorized every single one. Her knuckles connected with the soft tissue behind his knee with a satisfying thud. Vargoth grunted, stumbled slightly, and Maya was already moving again. She came up fast inside his guard and slammed her palm into the underside of his jaw. His head snapped back. The crowd gasped. Vargoth recovered quickly, snarling now, his yellow eyes blazing. Lucky hits, he spat. Let us see how you handle a real attack. He came at her like a storm, claws flashing, tail whipping. Maya backpedaled, dodging, ducking, using every centimeter of the ring. A claw caught her shoulder, tearing fabric and skin. She ignored the pain. Pain was just information, and right now it was telling her she needed to be faster. Vargoth pressed his advantage, driving her back toward the edge of the ring. This is what I expected, he growled between strikes. All that talk, and you are just another soft prey animal trying to survive. Maya let him push her, let him think he was winning. She could see it in his eyes, the contempt returning, the certainty that he'd been right all along about humans. Then her foot hit the edge of the ring. Nowhere left to run, primate, Vargoth said, winding up for a finishing blow. Maya smiled again. Who said I was running? She dropped flat, hitting the deck hard, and swept her leg out a move that would have made her old Muay Thai instructor proud. Her shin connected with Vargoth's ankle, and physics did the rest. 300 pounds of Saurian warrior went down like a felled tree. The impact shook the deck. Vargoth landed on his back, armor clanging, his breath knocked out in a surprise whoosh. Maya was on him in a heartbeat, straddling his chest, one hand planted on either side of his head. Here is the thing about humans, she said, breathing hard but grinning. We might not have claws or scales or venom, but we have something better. What is that? Vargoth wheezed, still trying to process what had just happened. We have 2 million years of learning how to kill things bigger and meaner than us, Maya said, and we got really, really good at it. She raised her fist, pulled it back, and brought it down with everything she had, not at his head, at the junction where his chest plate connected to his shoulder guard. The armor was ceremonial, beautiful, ancient, and it had a design flaw that had been standard in Saurian military equipment for the last 500 years, right up until the great armor reforms of 2347. Maya had found that information in a dusty historical database 3 months ago. Her fist hit the junction point perfectly. Once, twice, 3 times. On the 4th hit, something cracked. The chest plate split along its seam, ceramics shattering, the pieces falling away to expose the softer mesh underneath. The sound of it breaking echoed through the suddenly silent training bay. Vargoth stared up at her, his yellow eyes wide with shock. Around them, the other recruits had gone completely quiet. Even the Krell had stopped lifting weights. No weapons, Maya said softly, looking down at the training master. Just flesh, bone, and whatever pathetic natural advantages evolution provided. She leaned in closer. Oh, and a functioning brain. That helps. She stood up, stepped back, and offered him her hand. Vargoth lay there for a long moment, his chest heaving, pieces of his shattered armor on the deck around him. Then, slowly, he reached up and took her hand. Maya pulled, and he rose, towering over her again. For 5 long seconds, nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Then Vargoth threw his head back and laughed. It was a deep, rumbling sound that started in his chest and rolled out like thunder, By the old stars, he roared, still laughing. The primate has teeth after all. He looked around at the other recruits, his broken armor hanging loose. Did you all see that? Did you see what she did? The Krell warrior was the first to respond, slamming his fists together in what might have been applause. Others joined in, a cacophony of clicks, whistles, roars, and hums. Vargoth turned back to Maya, and his expression had changed. The contempt was gone. In its place was something that might have been respect, or maybe curiosity. You studied Saurian armor, he said. It was not a question. I studied everything, Maya replied. Your armor, your fighting style, your culture, your history. You told me this was a test. Training master. So I prepared for it. Most recruits rely on their natural advantages. Vargoth said, probing the cracked armor with one claw. Strength, speed, natural weapons. They do not think. Most recruits are not human, Maya said. We don't have natural advantages. We have to think or we die. Vargoth nodded slowly, then looked around the training bay again. The rest of you, he bellowed. Watch and learn. This human just taught you the most important lesson you will ever receive in this academy. He turned back to Maya, his yellow eyes gleaming. It is not about how big you are, how strong you are, or how many claws you have. It is about using what you have, finding your enemy's weakness, and exploiting it without mercy. Maya wiped blood from her torn shoulder, adrenaline still singing through her veins. Does this mean I pass? Vargoth laughed again, shorter this time. Pass? Human. You just broke ceremonial armor that has survived 3 centuries of combat. You humiliated a training master in front of his entire class. He paused, his expression unreadable. No, you did not pass. Maya's heart sank. You exceeded. Vargoth finished. Welcome to the Galactic Combat Academy, Maya Chen of Earth. Your real training starts tomorrow. He leaned in close, lowering his voice so only she could hear. And human, tomorrow I will not underestimate you. Maya met his gaze without flinching. Good, she said, because tomorrow I am going to break more than just your armor. Morning came too early and hurt too much. Maya rolled out of her bunk with muscles screaming in protest. Every part of her body that had made contact with training Master Vargoth yesterday had decided to file a formal complaint. Her knuckles were purple, her shoulder was bandaged, and her ribs felt like someone had used them as a xylophone. She loved it. Pain meant she had done something. Pain meant she was alive. Pain meant she had cracked a Saurian's armor with her bare hands and lived to brag about it. The communal facilities were empty this early. Maya stood under the sonic shower, letting the vibrations work some of the stiffness from her muscles. The station's version of morning was arbitrary anyway. Time zones meant nothing when you were floating in space between 3 different star systems. She dressed quickly in fresh training gear and headed to the mess hall. The door slid open, and every conversation stopped. 60 sets of alien eyes turned to look at her. Maya grabbed a tray and walked to food dispensers like nothing was different. Inside, her heart was hammering, but she had learned a long time ago that showing weakness was the same as asking to be eaten. She selected something that the dispenser claimed was protein-based and vaguely edible for human biochemistry, then turned to find a seat. The Krell warrior from yesterday was sitting alone at a table built to accommodate his massive frame. He caught her eye and gestured to the space across from him. Well, that was either an invitation or a threat. Only one way to find out. Maya walked over and sat down. Up close, the Krell was even more intimidating. His skin really did look like gray stone, rough and pitted. His eyes were deep-set and intelligent. You hit him 4 times before the armor broke, the Krell said without preamble. His voice sounded like gravel in a cement mixer. I counted. Maya took a bite of her protein something. It tasted like regret and cardboard. You have good eyes. I have good respect for good fighting, he replied. I am Krogar, Krell warrior clan, 3rd generation soldier. Maya Chen, Earth, 1st generation of anything. Krogar made that sound again, the one that might have been laughter. Your planet is young in the stars, but old in war, I think. We have had practice, Maya said dryly. mostly fighting each other, but practice is practice. Vargoth will test you hard today, Krogar said, leaning forward. He does not like being embarrassed, but he respects strength. You have earned something dangerous. What is that? His attention. Before Maya could respond, a four-armed Vex fighter approached their table. She was sleek and graceful, with pale blue skin and black eyes that had no pupils. May I join you? Her voice was musical, each word precisely formed. Sure, Maya said, gesturing to the space beside Krogar. The Vex sat with fluid grace. I am Senna. I want to say that what you did yesterday was remarkable. Thanks. I had good motivation. Vargoth insulted your species, Senna said. Among my people, such insults require formal challenge. You gave one informally. It was very entertaining. Glad I could provide the show, Maya said. She noticed more aliens were openly watching their table now. Does everyone here hate Vargoth, or is he just special with humans? Krogar laughed, a booming sound that made the table vibrate. Vargoth treats everyone like prey until they prove otherwise. He has trained warriors for 3 centuries. He has seen species rise and fall. He has earned his arrogance. But he has also earned his blind spots, Senna added quietly. He assumes his experience makes him invincible. You exploited that assumption. And now, Maya asked, now he knows you think. Krogar said simply, that makes you dangerous. The morning briefing was held in the main training hall. Maya arrived exactly on time to find Vargoth waiting, his shattered armor replaced with a newer, more practical version. The ceremonial markings were gone. This was pure function over form. He saw her looking and bared his teeth in what might have been a smile. The old armor served its purpose for 300 years. Perhaps it was time for an upgrade. Looks good, Maya said, more flexible around the joints. Indeed, thank you for the demonstration of its weaknesses. The other recruits filed in, forming loose ranks. Maya counted 47 aliens, not including herself. 47 species that had claws, armor, venom, size, speed, or some combination of advantages that evolution had given them. And then there was her. Vargoth began the briefing. Yesterday, you all witnessed something important. A warrior without natural weapons defeated a warrior with superior size, strength, and experience. Today, we explore why. He paced in front of the assembled recruits. Combat is not about advantages. It is about exploiting disadvantages. Every strength has a corresponding weakness. Heavy armor limits mobility. Great strength requires leverage. Superior speed needs space to accelerate. Vargoth stopped in front of Maya. The human understands this instinctively. Her species evolved not as apex predators, but as persistent hunters. They did not outrun their prey. They outlasted it. They did not overpower their enemies. They outsmarted them. He turned to address everyone. Today's exercise is simple. You will work in pairs. One will attack with their natural advantages. The other will defend without using theirs. Then you will switch. You will learn what it means to fight like a human. A ripple of interest moved through the recruits. Several looked at Maya with new curiosity. Chun, Vargoth called. You will pair with me. Of course she would. They moved to a private training ring, while the others spread out across the hall. Vargoth stretched, his new armor flexing smoothly with his movements. I underestimated you yesterday, he said. I will not make that mistake again. Good, Maya replied, settling into a ready stance. I would hate for this to be boring. First round. I attack, you defend. No striking back. Only evasion and blocks. Show me how humans survive. He did not wait for confirmation. He just moved. Fast. Faster than yesterday. His claws came in from 3 angles simultaneously, his tail whipping low. Maya twisted ducked, rolled. A claw grazed her cheek. She tasted copper. Vargoth pressed harder, combinations flowing like water. High, low, faint strike. Maya gave ground, reading his patterns, watching for the tells. Every fighter had them. The slight shift before a tail swipe. The shoulder twitches before a claw strike. She was learning from him. A particularly vicious combination forced her to the ground. She rolled backward, came up on her feet, breathing hard. "You are fast," Vargoth said. "For a human, but speed is not enough against superior opponents." "No," Maya agreed, "but endurance is." They went 3 more rounds of pure defense. By the end, Maya was drenched in sweat and had collected several more scratches, but she was still standing, still moving, still learning. "Adequate," Vargoth said, though his tone suggested it was better than adequate. "Now we switch. You attack. I defend using only my natural armor. No dodging, no blocking with limbs." Maya's eyes narrowed. "You're going to just stand there and let me hit you?" "My armor is grade 7 composite. Your fists are flesh and bone. This will demonstrate the futility of human strength against proper protection." "Right," Maya said slowly. "Grade 7 composite. That is pretty tough. The toughest. With no weak points?" "Minimal weak points. Properly protected." Maya circled him, studying the new armor. It was better designed than the ceremonial piece she had broken yesterday. No obvious gaps, better coverage, reinforced joints. But armor was armor, and armor had rules. She feinted toward his head, watched him brace for impact, then dropped and drove her shoulder into his knee. Not the knee itself, but the tendons beside it. The armor protected the bone and joint, but tendons were harder to shield without restricting movement. Vargoth grunted, did not fall, but his weight shifted. Maya kept moving, striking and retreating, hitting odd angles. The inside of his elbow, the spot where his tail met his spine, the soft tissue under his jaw that even the best armor could not fully cover. "You are not trying to break the armor," Vargoth observed, his breathing slightly elevated. "The armor is not my enemy," Maya replied, dancing back from a reflexive tail swipe. "You are." "Explain." She stopped circling. "You wear the armor. The armor does not wear you, which means under all that protection is something soft and vulnerable that needs protecting. I do not need to break your armor, training master. I just need to make you wish you had better armor." Vargoth stared at her for a long moment, then slowly nodded. "You think like a human." "Well, I am one. I mean, you think like a species that survives not through strength, but through making your enemies regret fighting you in the first place." "That too," Maya agreed. The rest of the training day passed in a blur of exercise, pain, and small victories. Maya worked with Krogar on strength compensation, with Senna on speed dynamics, and with a Chitric soldier named Zika on teamwork tactics. By the time evening came, she could barely walk. She made it to her quarters, collapsed on her bunk, and seriously considered never moving again. The door chimed. "Unless you are bringing pain medication or food, go away," Maya called. The door opened anyway. Vargoth stood in the entrance, ducking slightly to fit through the human-sized doorway. Maya sat up, wincing. "Training master, is something wrong?" "On the contrary," Vargoth said, stepping inside. The room suddenly felt much smaller. "I came to inform you that your performance today was exemplary." "Thank you." He moved to the window, looking out at the star field beyond. 300 years, Chun. I have trained 300 years' worth of warriors. Krell strongmen who could bend steel. Vex fighters who moved like wind. Chitrics who thought as one mind. Saurians with centuries of combat experience. He turned to face her. "And in all that time, I have never seen someone fight the way humans fight. You do not try to be stronger or faster. You do not try to grow claws or armor. You just refuse to die, and you make your enemies suffer for every second they fight you." Maya swung her legs off the bunk, sitting up straighter despite the protest from her ribs. "Is that a compliment or an insult?" "It is an observation," Vargoth said, "and a warning. Warning. Tomorrow, the Council is sending an inspection team. They will observe training, evaluate recruits, and make decisions about which species should receive advanced combat certification." He paused. "They will be looking for reasons to deny Earth's application to the Galactic Defense Corps." Maya felt ice settle in her stomach. "Let me guess. Some species do not want humans in the club." Several species, Vargoth corrected. They see Earth as young, reckless, and dangerous. They remember your world wars, your nuclear standoffs, your tendency towards self-destruction. They fear what humans might become with access to advanced weapons and galactic-level conflicts. So what do I need to do? Vargoth's yellow eyes gleamed. What have you been doing? Show them that humans belong. Show them that flesh and bone and a functioning brain can stand beside claws and armor and venom. No pressure, Maya muttered. Considerable pressure, Vargoth agreed, but I believe you can handle it. He moved toward the door, then paused. Chen, why did you come here? To this academy, knowing you would face species that could kill you with a casual swipe. Maya thought about it, about Earth, about humanity's desperate scramble to prove they belonged among the stars, about every person who had ever been underestimated and told they were not good enough. Because someone had to, she said finally, someone had to show up and prove we are more than soft prey animals with delusions. Someone had to crack the armor. She smiled. Might as well be me. Vargoth nodded slowly. Get some rest. Tomorrow you will need it. He left, and Maya lay back down, staring at the ceiling. Tomorrow, the council will come. Tomorrow, she would face whatever test they threw at her. Tomorrow, she would prove that humans belonged. Tonight, she let herself hurt, let herself feel every bruise and cut and strained muscle. Tomorrow, she would show them what happens when you tell a human they are not good enough. Tomorrow, she would break more than just armor. She would break expectations. And she could not wait. Subscribe and like to my channel for more sci-fi stories.